This is my fuel injected power generator conversion project. I'm going to show you the parts, the throttle body, and so forth, and then we'll move on to the fuel system and then to the electronics. First thing I did is I took off the old carburetor right here, replaced it with a new throttle body that has a fuel injector right here, and I also added a spacer between the engine and the throttle body, which allows me to inject EGR into the engine, or for my first experiments, to actually run the engine on propane before I had the fuel injection working. Once you get past the throttle body, I've got a temporary rig up here, and then down here in tan is the mass airflow sensor. I used an old GM sensor and welded up a collar for it, and have just a paper air filter on top, more for looks than anything else. I also added in the front of the engine, if you want to swing over here, inside here the cooling fins for the engine. I added what is called the variable reluctance sensor. You can't really see it, but there's the two mounting screws are here. It detects the rotation of the engine, which allows me to time the fuel injection pulses, accordingly, and make spark advance and so forth. Right now I'm not using spark advance. I'm using the stock spark, which is I think 18 degrees before top dead center. On top of the engine here in the muffler, I welded on a wideband oxygen sensor so I can track and tune the engine and build my fuel tables from that. And then moving further back, we'll look at the fuel system now. On the stock gas tank here, fuel line comes down. I have a fuel filter installed. I bought a Bosch fuel pump made for automotive use. It draws approximately 3 amps at 12 volts. That's 30 watts for the fuel pump. I had to make an adapter between the fuel pump, because this is an in-tank fuel pump. I made an adapter so I could run the fuel in through a barbed connector. From the fuel pump outwards, then I come into a T. I tee off to the injector, and then I run through the remainder of the T goes through the fuel pressure regulator, and I have a fuel pressure gauge here just to show the pressure. I have my little regulator in the return line back up to the fuel tank right there.